Hi, I'm Prudy Fox. I'm the managing consultant here with Deer Park Vineyard. We're standing in front of the upper vineyard planted in 2001. The lower vineyard was planted in 1998. We didn't harvest until the 4th year because we wanted to get the roots deep into the soil and we wanted to encourage a really healthy vineyard, which we have achieved. Upper vineyard is about 5 acres. It's all Pinot Noir, all Dijon clones, 667 and 115. We chose to plant Pinot Noir here in this area because Pleasant Valley is known as just a premium area to grow Pinot Noir grapes. It has the maritime influence. Pinot Noir doesn't really like to be super hot. The skins are very delicate. We get these cool mornings with the fog, but it burns away by maybe 10 a.m. That kind of steady influence with not too much heat allows the acids to develop fully, all the little flavonoids, all the different chemical properties of the grapes, allowing maturation over a slow period of time to slowly build by keeping the heat units down, allows those flavors to fully mature. So we get a very fruit-forward wine that still is full-bodied, great acidity. In the lower vineyard, across the driveway, it's about 9.5 acres. We have about 6 acres of Pinot Noir down there with 7 different clones, and Dijon and old clones and field selections. And we also have Syrah. The Syrah is incredibly successful. It produces a rich, fruity wine with great body, viscosity. It's 2 different clones, Hermitage and 877. This vineyard is farmed what we call sustainably. That means we attempt to use minimal inputs. We try to have the vineyard grow in a natural balance so that we have to do as little as possible other than routine grooming and canopy management. These vines, they're on what they call a VSP, a vertical shoot positioning, so everything grows straight up. It helps keeps the leaves off the fruit and provides plenty of space for light and air for the fruit. It allows our spurs to be well spaced apart. Each little cluster has plenty of room to grow. We're very careful about controlling our crop loads on these vines. It is a divided canopy, but again, that's so that we can control the crop load, that we can spread out the spurs, that we can give the fruit plenty of room to grow and have lots of light and air around it so it can mature fully without being crowded out. We don't have to be greedy about putting spurs too close to try to get more fruit. You've got to give your fruit light and air or you won't get a high quality crop, and that's what we're after here, premium fruit. And that's what we're obtaining, and we're very happy with our product. All this greenery that you see here, these canes growing up in the winter, they'll turn to wood. It's a process called lignification. You go in January, February, and you start pruning, which is the process of just cutting those canes, which are all the green that you see, back down to about a 2-inch stump above the arm of the vine or the cordon. We space them what they call mano por mano. We try to put them about a hand width apart. It's a good way to think of it. It controls the amount of crop you're going to get to begin with, and it also allows for good spacing for the shoots when they do grow out to get plenty of light and air, which is the key to quality grapes. Here we are actually in the rows themselves, which I enjoy. These are the canes. Here, this is the fruit. Here is one of the clusters, the Dijon 667 Pinot Noir, another clone. Again, kind of what I was describing in the winter pruning phase here. See, these are the spurs. Here's a little spur. Here's a spur. And you can see that they're about 1 hand width apart. As you notice my hand in there going between each spur, that's the distance between these spurs. So as you can see, you get a lot of openness in this canopy. It's not dense at all. So that allows for good air movement through the canopy, good light. We get what we call the stippled lighting effect, where you can see the fruit itself is actually somewhat in shade. A few of the clusters are showing some little light, but overall they're shaded so they're comfortable. It's just like sitting under a canopy on a summer afternoon sipping lemonade, and that's what we're trying to do for these grapes. Is we want them to be comfortable and happy. They like to be left alone. They like to be given lots of space. On the canopy, you want about at least 4 feet of length of cane length. You need enough leaves to properly ripen the fruit. You don't want too many clusters of fruit. You want a certain number of leaves per cluster of fruit. It's the leaves that manufacture the sugar. The leaves do the process of photosynthesis, manufacturing the sugar, feeding the fruit. We want the grapes to feel the breeze. We take good care of their skin. It was laid out really carefully. It's really important to have all your rows super straight and have everything on a mathematical grid. That way when your tractors go up and down the row, everything gets evenly sprayed, everything gets evenly handled. It's easier to do things mechanically. Again, we're quite a bit into low impact here. We have drip irrigation, but we follow what's called deficit irrigation. And these vines are reaching a level of maturity that we may get away from watering altogether in the next few years. We use minimal input sprays. We don't use any herbicides in the vineyard at all. This year we've started a new process called no-till. You notice that the grass here is mowed in between the rows, but we don't disc. That's because it was an incredibly wet spring and we didn't want to wick the moisture up and cause any more vigor than would come up naturally from the ground. It also holds the dust down and the wildlife like it better, which is good this time of year, but later with all the birds who like it so much, we have to net because the birds are so happy here that they get into the smorgasbord in the fall. Hi. Did we get the date? September 27th, 2005? These are Pinot Noir 667. It's another Dijon clone. We're really proud of them and they're picking beautifully today. In general, the fruit has to hang longer than it used to. And so what used to be ripe isn't ripe anymore. And so where we might have harvested in mid-September 5 years ago, the winemakers will probably want us to let the fruit hang if the weather's cooperative. They claim it's not to get the sugar higher, they claim it's to develop the other flavors, and there is some scientific backing to that theory. What's really still happening during that process is the flavors are developing, the chemical compounds are interacting with each other, they are changing form, and they are developing more complex flavors. These are going to Cinnabar Winery, and we're very excited about that, and George is very excited about these grapes.
This is our second harvest from Dan Lester's vineyard. Last year we crushed about 9.5, 10 tons of Syrah. 2004 Syrah rocks. Pretty fox grower, awesome staff. It's about a 15-acre estate here. Some of the best fruit in the Santa Cruz Mountain appellation.
It's all Pinot Noir. It's our first pick of the season. This is the 2005 harvest. We have 3 bins of 667 Dijon. It's a Dijon clone.
Wow. Beautiful.
We have 2 bins of clone 9 and 1 bin of clone 115, another Dijon clone. It's a fabulous year.
There we go. This fruit's over the top. Really beautiful set. This is some of the best fruit I've seen in the Santa Cruz Mountains for the vintage of 2005.